Hello everyone. So in today's lecture, we will understand about the text input and customizing and edit text object for user input. So after learning this, you will understand about the how we can create a text input in XML file and also how to customize and edit text object for user input. So let's start. Use the edit text class to get user input that consists the textual character, and it include the numbers and symbol, and edit text extend the text view classes to make the text view editable. So for customizing an edit text object for user input in the layout manager of Android Studio, just create an edit text view by adding an edit text to your layout with the some following XML code. Like you need to only write first, you need to call the edit text element. You need to write the edit text element, and you need to add some attributes. And these attributes are Android ID, Android layout height, Android layout width. For ID, you need to write the ID number or ID name. Like for example, uh, in this example I am giving a id as a edit simple. Okay, and the layout height and layout width have a same value, that is wrap content. And just close the edit text element in a so we can enable a multiple line enable a multiple lines of a input. So by default, an edit text view allow a multiple line of input as shown in the figure. Okay, and suggest spelling corrections. So tapping the return, or you can also known as enter key on the on screen keyboard in the line and start a new line in the same edit text view. Okay, so you can see that in this diagram, this the where the enter key is shown at the bottom right. So this is mainly used for changing the line. Now how we can enable return to advance to the next view. So if we add Android colon input type attribute to the edit text view with the values such as text characters or text autocomplete, tapping a return key close the on screen keyboard and advance the focus of next view. So this behavior is useful if you want the user to fill out a form consisting of edit text field, so that the user can advance quickly to the next edit view. So attribute for customizing and edit text view. Just use the attribute to customize the edit text view for input. For example, see, you can see here some code. Like for example, use the Android attribute to customize the edit text view for input. For example, the first thing you can see here, the set of text entered to show only one line. For this, you need to write Android colon max line equal to 1. Okay. Next, you can see here set the text entry to show two line even if the length of the text is less. So for this, you need to add an attribute Android colon line equal to 2. Okay. Next, third attribute is set the maximum number of input character to 5. So for that, you need to write a attribute Android colon max length equal to 5. and this 5 in double quotes. Next one is restrict text entry to number. So for that you need to write a attribute Android colon input type equal to number. Next attribute is restrict the digital enter to just 0 and 1. So for that you need to write Android colon digital equal to 0 1. Next, set the background color of selected text. Okay, so for that you need to write Android colon text color highlight equal to whatever color value you want to enter. So just write the color value in hex code. Next is the Android colon hint equal to string slash my hint. Set text to appear in the field that provide a hint for the user, such as enter a message. Okay. So for the list of edit text attribute, including text view attribute. So getting the user input, enabling the user input text is also useful if you can use the text in some way in your app. So to use the input, you must first get in form of edit text view in the XML layout. So the step you follow to set up the edit text view and get user input from it are: create an edit text view element in the XML layout for activity. So be sure to identify this element with an Android colon ID, so that you can refer to it by ID. In the Java code for the same activity, create a method with a view parameter that gets the edit text object for the edit text view, and using the find view by ID method of a view class to find the view by its ID. Okay. So use the get text method. Use the get text method of the edit text class to obtain the text as a character sequence. So you can convert the character sequence into a string using toString method of the character sequence class, which return a string representing the class in the character sequence. Next is how we can changing a keyboard and input behavior. So Android systems show an on-screen keyboard known as soft input method, and when a text field in the UI receive focus to provide the best user experience, you can specify a characteristic about the type of input and app expect, such as whether it's phone number or email address. So you can also specify how the input method should behave, such as whatever of whatever or not in it show spelling suggestion, or provide capital letter for the beginning of the sentence. So you can change the soft input method to numeric key type for entering only members, or even a phone keypad or a phone number. So Android also provide an extensible framework for advanced programmer to develop and install their own input method for speech input and specify type or keyboard entry and the other applications. So just declare the input method by adding the Android input type attribute to the edit text view. For example, some attribute need you or some attribute set the on screen keyboard on the phone keyboard. Okay, and these attributes are Android colon input type equal to phone. So use the Android colon input type attribute when with the following value, and these values are like text cap sentence, text autocorrect, text password, text email address. So these kind of input value you can use with the Android colon input type. Okay, input type attribute. So text caps sentence set the keyboard to capital letters at the beginning of the sentence, and text autocorrect enable spelling suggestion at the user type, and the text password turn each character of the user into the into a dot or console and enter password. Okay, text email address for email entry show an email keyboard with an @ symbol connectivity and located next to the space key. Uh, phone For phone number entry show a numeric phone keypads. So you can use pipe characters to combine attribute value for the Android colon input type attributes. Guys, these days there are so many uh, screen size are available in the market, right? Some people have a 6-inch mobile, some people have a 4-inch mobile, some have a 5-inch mobile, some have 6.4-inch mobile. So whatever screen size, according to that it automatically resize them. Okay, so it will be happen by using a vector assets. So the vector asset studio dialog appear for the vector assets, and just click the material icon radio button, and then just click the choose button to choose an icon from the material design space. Okay, and after that just click the next after choosing an icon. Okay, and click finish, and then click finish to finish. The icon name should now appear in the app appear in the app folder. Now just click on the res folder and then drawable folder. Okay, now adding the button with text and icon to the layout. Okay, adding in button with the text or a layout. So for that, guys, you need to write some XML code. So to create a button with text and icon as shown in the figure below, to use the button in the XML layout, and just add the Android drawable left attribute to draw the icon to the left of button text as shown in the figure here. Okay, and then for this you need to just write some code, like you need to firstly call the button attribute, in which you need to add some attributes like layout width, layout height, and what text you want to show. And drawable left, this will drawable left is used for showing for placing the button icon. Okay, so as you can see, guys, a button is appear here, in which alert is written. Alert is actually a text message or a text on the button, and alarm, or you can say that a watch type something icon is appear on that button, right? So, but it is on a left side, so that's why drawable left we need to call, and we need to write the name of that button. So button icon is name. So this is how we can create a button with the image or text both, right? Next is how can we create um, how we can create a raise button with a only an icon, right? So if an icon is usually understood, you may want to use it instead of text. So to create a raise button with just an icon or image, use the image button class, in which extend the image view class. You can add an image button to your XML layout. Okay, so for that you need to write you need to call the image button tag or attribute, or a tag or element, image button element, and in which you need to add some attribute like layout width, layout height, and source, means a source of image icon. Okay. Next is changing the style and appearance of raise button. So for that, the simplest way to show more prominent raise button, to use different background color for the button. So you can specify the Android background attribute with drawable or color resource. So for that, you need to just write a attribute Android colon background equal to @color slash color primary. Okay, the appearance of your button, the background color and the font may vary from one device to another, because device by different manufacturer often have different default style for input control. So you can control exactly how your button and other inputs control are styled using an theme, or using a theme that you apply to your entire app. So for instance, to ensure that all device that can run the holo theme will use the holo theme for your app, and declare the following in the application element in the Android manifest.xml file. So for that, you need to write the attribute like Android colon theme equal to @Android colon style slash theme dot holo. So after adding the above declaration, the app will be displayed using the theme, and the app designed for Android 4.0 uh, and higher can also use the device default public theme family. And the device default theme are alias for the device native look and feel. So the device default theme family and visit style family offer a way for developers to uh, target the device native theme will with all customization in fact. So for Android app running on the 4.0 and newer, you have a following option. Okay, so firstly, use the theme such as one of the holo theme, so that your app has exact same look across all Android devices running on 4.0 or newer. So in this case, the app look doesn't change when running on the device with a different default skin or custom skin. So next option, you can use one of the device default theme, so that your app take on the look on the device default scheme. So don't use a theme, but you may have an unpredictable result on some device, right? So you are not already familiar with Android style and theme system, so you should read style or theme and the blog post holo everywhere provide information about using the holo themes while supporting older device, right? So for a guide on a style and customizing button using XML, you just need to see the button class. Okay, And for comprehensive guide for designing button, you need to see a components button in the material design specifications. Okay. After that, we learn about how to design a flat button. Okay, how to design a flat button. So a flat button, also known as a broadless button, broadless button in the text button that appear flat on the screen without a shadow. The major benefits of flat button is simplicity. The minimize dis- distraction from content, and a flat button are useful when you have a dialogue. So as shown in a figure here, okay, which require user input or interaction. For in this case, you would want to have the same font and style as the text surrounding the button. So this keeps the looks and feel the same across all element within the dialog. Okay. So flat button show below, right, show below, reassemble basic button, except that they have no border or a background, but still change appearance during different state, right. So a flat button show an ink shade around it when it pressed. Okay, when it pressed. So in the above figure, it shows that um, the three state. First, for the normal state, second for the disabled state, and third for the press state. So normal state, in this normal state, the button looks just like ordinary text. Okay. And for the disabled state, when the text is when the text is grayed out, the button is not active in the app context. And next state is press state. The press state with a background shadow indicate that the button is being touched or clicked. So when you attach a callback to the button, the callback is called when the button in this state. So if you use the flat button within the layout, be sure to use padding to set it off from the surrounding text so that the user can easily see it. So to create a flat button, just use the button class and add the button to your XML layout, and apply some attributes. Okay. So designing an image as a button, you can turn an image, you can turn an image you can turn any view, such as image view, into a button by adding the Android on click attribute in the XML layout. So the image of the image view must already be stored in the drawable folder in the project. So note that to bring image into your Android Studio project, just create or save the image in JPG format and copy the image file into the app folder, and inside the app folder the src folder is present. Just click on that, and then you will see a main folder. Just click on the main folder again, and then you will see res folder. Inside the res folder, drawable folder is present. Just click on that, and you will see your project. Okay. So for more information about drawable resource, you can just check the drawable resource in the app resource section of Android developer guide. So if you are using a multiple image as a button, arrange them in a view group so that they are grouped together. So for example, the following image of drawable folder are defined for image view, and uh, the grouped in the linear layout set to horizontal orientation so that they appear side by side. Okay, they appear side by side. So for creating this image button, you need to write the following code. Okay, first of all, you need to call a element, that is linear layout element. Inside the linear layout element, you need to add the attribute, that is layout width, layout height, and the orientation, and also the layout margin top. So guys, you can see here layout width is written as a match parent, and height is also a match parent, and next orientation is horizontal, and layout margin top equal to 260 dp. Okay, so it was defined, and after that obviously there are three image here. So for that you need to call three image view. Okay, so for in the first image view you need to again write some attribute, and you need to add some control also to each button. Okay, so for that attribute you need to add is layout width, layout height, src, and on click. So the value of layout width is equal to wrap content, layout height same wrap content, src whatever the source for that particular image you need to write here. For example, first image is ice cream circle, so you need to write the source for that. Okay, and after that just add the on click equal to order ice cream. Okay, means whenever you click the ice cream icon, means that whenever you click it was added, or maybe it was ordered from your side. Okay, next image view is a actually for donut. So for that same you need to add some attribute like layout width, layout height, src, and on click. So whenever you click on that donut image, the order will be placed. Okay, the order will be placed. Next, that image view. Okay, in which layout again this one next third image is actually a Frio image, Frio, and sorry, Froyo. So for Froyo you need to again add some attribute in the image view elements, and these attributes are actually a layout width, layout height, src, and on click. So whenever you click on the Froyo, uh, your order will be placed. So these three image are actually written in the linear layout. Okay, next is how do we design a float action button. Okay, float action button. So a float action button show uh, as a figure, you can see here. So in the circular button that appear on the float above the layout, so that is known as float button. Okay, so guys, in this figure you can see here, this is an example. When you are adding some new number, you will just click on this plus icon, and you can add a new number inside your mobile contact, right? So you should use the floating action button only to represent the primary action for screen, right? For example, the primary action for contact app main screen is adding a contact. So as shown in the figure above, a floating action button is the right choice if your app require an action to be persistent and readily available on the screen. So only one floating action button is recommended per screen. The floating action button use the same type of icon that you would use the floating that you use the floating button with an icon or for action in the app bar. Okay, at the top of the screen you can at the top of the screen you can add an icon as a described as in described previously. We already learned that, so how we can choose an icon for the button, right? So use a floating action button in the Android Studio project. You must add the following statement in the build.gradle file in the dependency section. So for that, in the dependency section, you need to write compile in a double quotes com.android.support colon design colon 23.4.0. As you know that 23.4.0 is actually a version, right? So the version at the end of a statement may change, right? Maybe definitely now maybe right time other version are available, so you can write the obviously whatever the current version are available, you just write that version. Okay, so use the newest version suggestion by Android Studio to create the floating action button, and use the floating action button class which extend the image button class. You can add the following action button to XML layout as follows. So for that you need to write the XML code, like firstly you need to write android.support.design visit dot floating action button. Okay, and in once you call this element, you need to add some attribute for this element. Okay, and these attributes are Android colon ID, layout width, layout ID, layout gravity, layout margin, and also SRC means source. So floating action button by default are 56 into 56 dp in size. So if the best to use the default size unless you need the smaller version to create a visual continuity with the other screen element. So you can set the mini size, that is 30 cross 40 dp app uh, with the app colon fab size attribute. Okay, and when you use the app size fab size attribute, in which you need to pass a mini as a value to set for setting the minimum size of the icon. Okay, for the floating action icon, sorry, floating action button size. Okay, the minimum size is 30 is to 40. So to set it back to the default size, you just need to write app colon fab size equal to normal. So when you choose a normal as a value, then it means it automatically understand that you are saying that the default size of a floating action bar, that is 56 into 56 dp, right? So to responding to the button click event, just use the event listener called on click listener, which is an interface in the view class to represent the click event that actually occurs when the user tap or click the clickable object, such as button, image button, or floating action bar. So for more information, an event listener or other type of UI event and read the input event section of Android developer documentation. Okay, so how we can add a on click on the layout element. So to set on the on click listener for the clickable object in your activity, so just code and design a callback method to use the Android colon on click attribute with the clickable object element in the XML layout. So for example, you need to write the button. You need to write the button element, and in which you need to pass some attribute, and these attribute are ID, layout width, layout height, text, and on click. So when you so in this case, when a user click the button, the Android system call the activity send message method. Okay, and for that you already wrote some code in your Java file. That is, it contain public void send message in which you pass view and do something in response to the button click. Means between the body of this um, between body of this method, you can write anything which you want to response to the button click. Okay, so the method you declare as the Android on click attribute must be public. So return a void and defined a view as the only parameters. So use the method to perform task or call other method as response to the button click. Okay, so using the button listener design pattern, you can also handle the click event programmatically using the button listener design pattern. So for more information on the listener design pattern, um, you can see a creating custom listener. Okay, to use the event listener, just click on the view dot on click listener, which is an interface in the view class that contain the single callback method on click method. The method is called by Android framework when the view is triggered by user interaction. The event listener must already be registered to the view in order to be called for event. So follow these steps to register the listener and use it. Okay, use the find view by ID method of the view class to find the button in XML layout file. Okay, so for that you need to write button. You need to call the button class and just make an instance that button equal to button find view by ID, in which you just pass r.id.button underscore send. Okay, after that, get a new view on click listener object and register it to the button by calling the set on click listener method. The argument to set on click listener method take an object that implement the view dot on click listener interface, which has one method, that is on click method. And in the on click method, you need to write some code like button dot set on click listener, in which you have to pass a new view dot on click listener method. Okay, so define the on click method to be public, and return the void and define the view as an only parameters. Okay, to create a method to do something in response to the button click, such as perform an action. To set the click listener programmatically, instead of with the on click attribute, just customize the view dot on click listener class and override its on click handle to perform some action. Using the event listener interface for other event, just other event can occur with the UI element, and you can use the callback method already defined in the event listener interface to handle them. So the method are called by Android framework when the view to which the listener has been registered, it triggered by the user interaction, and you therefore must set the appropriate listener to use the method, and the following are some of the listener available in the Android framework and the callback method associated with each one, right? So for that, just click on click method from view dot on click listener, and handles a click event in which user touches and then uh, releases an area of the device display occupied view, and then just on click callback has a no return value, right? And then after that, just click on long click on a long click method on a long click method from view dot on long click listener. It actually handle an event in which the user maintain the touch over the view for extended period. So this return a boolean to indicate whether you have consumed the event, and it should not be considered further. So this is returned true to indicate that you have handled the event, and it should stop here, and return false if you have not handled it, and so that the event should continue in any other on click listener. Okay. And after that, just you can use on touch method from view dot on touch listener, and handle by from the touch content with the screen, including individual or multiple touches, and gesture motion, including a press and release of any movement gesture in the screen, right? In the screen, which include a directional information, and it return the boolean to indicate whether an listener consume this event or not. After that, you can also use on focus change method from view dot on focus change listener. So you can handle when focus moves away from the current view as the result of interaction with the talk ball, and navigation key is appear. Okay. After that, another method is also present, that is on key method from view dot on key listener, handle when the key on the hardware device is pressed while a view has focused. Okay. These methods are actually associated with the callback methods. Okay. So today we properly understand about the two type of button, that is floating that is a first one is raised button, and the second one is flat button. Okay. So after that, guys, just understand this topic from the Android programming cookbook, And after that, these are some homework to you. Just understand this and tell me the answer. So this is the first question for you. This is the second question. This is the third question. Next. 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 So this is the last question for you guys. Um, Next topic we will learn in the next class. Okay. So for today, this is enough.